I remember as a kid playing pinball on my old Windows computer growing up and always trying to get the high score with my brothers. I also remember doing PowerPoint in high school on my Windows computer, and as well as when I got my first laptop my freshman year of college, playing Half-Life 2, and all these great memories on my Windows computers. But then when the new M1 Max and Pro chips came out for the new MacBook Pro, I was so excited. I was like, I gotta try this out. So let's take a look at my past year and see what I love about the MacBook, but what I wish they also had from Windows. And when it's time to upgrade, will I stay with the Mac or will I go with the Windows? So I remember when this MacBook was ordered, I was super excited, and then it finally came in the mail, and it felt like Christmas morning. It was just so cool to open it up, turn it on, hear that great Apple sound. It was so exciting just to dive in and learn the Mac operating system. And to be honest, throughout this, probably the first 6 months, it was almost like the honeymoon stage where there would be little new features I would learn. I'm like, wow, that's so amazing, that I never used or even thought of on the Windows computer. And those little experiences have been a joy over the past year. And some of those things that I love about using as a laptop is a lot of time I'm sitting around the TV at nighttime with my wife, as maybe we're watching a show. I can sit on my lap, and the trackpad, as you know, is just simply amazing on this thing. It's great to use, and a lot of time I'm using Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator, and I feel like on the Dell, the trackpad was not very intuitive to try to move around left and right or kind of in horizontal, but it's very simple. I believe it's with 2 fingers in the Mac, and I can move around seamlessly, and it feels like I have a mouse with me. The difference in size of these two laptops for the trackpad is night and day difference. This one's about, I don't know, 3 times bigger than what I was using on my old Dell computer. I was also excited because they brought back some features that people wanted in the Mac, such as an SD card slot, which is great. So when I'm taking my camera footage, I can just slide that in there, upload it instead of using a dongle or look for something else in a bag. Super convenient, super easy. And this fast charging MagSafe has been great. It opens up all the different Thunderbolt ports in here. But I also love that the Thunderbolts can charge the Mac as well. Battery as a laptop has been amazing. Using this Precision, it was a very powerful system. Which computer was that? Let's turn on my focus. Okay, personal. Go to do not disturb. So speaking of battery life, no one does it better than Mac. This lasts all day compared to my Dell Precision. And these things are pretty powerful back in the day. It has an NVIDIA graphics card, but with that graphics performance as well as the Intel chip in there, anytime you unplug that power source, the performance drops dramatically. Not only that, whenever I was video editing, my battery life dropped dramatically. So I love that I have never once been concerned about battery life using my MacBook Pro. And that's been a fantastic experience, knowing, not stressing about anything with battery, because you know it's gonna last you all day. Another thing I'd also struggle with my old Precision is this thing is a beast. It's pretty thick. It has a lot of fans to cool down the performance of this, what do you call these? Remote desktop, portable desktop, I think what they call them. So you have lots of great ports on there, but this thing was huge. There's a lot of backpacks that this would not fit in my laptop sleeve. Only had maybe 2 that could fit. Everything else I just kind of had to toss in the bag itself. But with this, very slim, very sleek, and as you know, I mean, Mac has a great style. A lot of companies even try to match the style because it is a beautiful laptop and it's metal enclosure. And I love that I have a new backpack that I can fit that in, no problems, and it's very slim. It still is kind of heavy. I was surprised how heavy it was when I first got it because this Precision is pretty heavy as well, but there's a lot more plastic components. A 16-inch MacBook Pro is still pretty heavy, but it is very substantial, which actually comparing weights, I had an XPS 14-inch before this Precision, and that was more metal base, and that was pretty similar in weight to this. So I think it's just mainly the metal that makes it heavier, but it does look great and it holds up very well, very sturdy. And comparing screens, the MacBook has a beautiful screen, as we know. The Dell Precision screen, visually, it was not very great. So I do love the color accuracy in the MacBook Pro. So when editing videos, I know I'm gonna get pretty accurate colors. So when it's posted finally on social media or through other digital sources, it's gonna look pretty close to what you see on the MacBook Pro. And another, just a very small thing, but it makes a huge difference. I love that when you close the MacBook Pro and when you open it, it turns on right away, just like your phone or your iPad. This Dell Precision, it was kind of like a fine tune. I was like, okay, I'm about to leave the couch to go grab something. Do I want to close my laptop? If I'm gonna be back in 1 minute, I am not gonna close my laptop because it would take 30 seconds or a minute to boot up again, then I'd log in. It was just a very slow process trying to log into my Windows computer compared to, again, opening up my Mac and it's on right away. So yeah, let me close really fast. That way the kids don't get into it. And I felt very secure and it didn't ruin my workflow. So I love how quick the MacBook is. And I love how Mac, for the most part, just works. Comparing that to Windows, there'd be a lot of things that wouldn't work and you're spending a lot of time and hours trying to fix it and do some research. And it was almost felt like a cool thing when I was a teenager. Oh yeah, I can fix a computer, I can do this, I can do that. And I felt almost like not a hacker, but someone, a very tech savvy. As I got older and time is very limited, I want something that just works. And one of the things that drove me crazy on this Dell Precision is I would use 1 terabyte SSD externally that I'd plug in through the Thunderbolt for that speed. It would only work sometimes. I would plug it in, the computer wouldn't recognize it, so I'd have to like unplug a dongle to a mouse and then plug it back in, then plug in the SSD, and then it might work. About 90% of the time it didn't work, and I had to spend about 10 or 15 minutes just to make that SSD work on this Precision. I have no idea why it struggled so much. It just kind of chose when it wanted to work and when it didn't. But then I got my new MacBook Pro, plugged in that same T5 Samsung SSD, and it worked right away. And it was nice that it was in a format that could work both on Windows and on Mac. So, anytime that can save me time and frustration makes me a lot happier as a husband, as a father. So I love getting rid of any stress and learning it. But there was still a learning curve. I had to learn some basic things about the Mac that seemed so simple, but I couldn't do at the very beginning. Now that I've been using it for about a year, a lot of those frustrations have gone. And then with Mac, they just do such a good job integrating all their different devices. Comparing that to Windows, Windows has so many different manufacturers making their laptops. You have Dell, you have HP, you have Acer, you have so many different laptops, Lenovo, and different components going in there. Compare that to phones, you have Android phones. I don't even know if they still make Windows phones. And then tablets, you have Samsung. There really isn't a company that does computers, popular tablet like the iPad, or very popular phone like the iPhone. And because Apple has done such a great job marketing each of their devices, they've had great success integrating all of them. And I think that's why people love staying with Apple, because everything just integrates so well together. That's how they get you, is they say, hey, we're gonna make this great with each of your devices, and then you don't wanna leave because they all integrate well together. So some of the integrations, I was just mind blown. This is actually the part where it felt like Christmas. Throughout the year as I discovered different things, and one of those features was copy and paste. I love that I can be on my phone and maybe I'm searching for something. I can copy from my phone, be on my MacBook, and paste it, and it shows up on there. I also like that I can take a picture from my phone. I may be in a meeting in the office and if someone wrote stuff on the whiteboard, I can just snap a picture on my phone, copy it, and then paste it on my Word doc that I'm keeping notes on, all from seamless transition. So I love just that integration as if it's almost part of the same device. Another huge thing at the very beginning was texting from my Mac. I love this so much because I hate every time someone texts me. I get an alert on my phone, I gotta pull it up, I gotta text them back, but then I'm already guilty. I'm on my phone, I'm like, what's on Instagram? What's on YouTube? And I tend to waste more time every time I make touches with my phone. But I love that I can just be working, checking my emails, or working in Photoshop or Premiere Pro. A text message pops up in the top right, reply to it, and then I'm done. I'm like, okay, great, let's go back to Premiere Pro or to my emails. And it saves me a lot of time and makes me more productive. I also love AirDrop. So I bought my wife a MacBook Pro 14-inch, and anytime she wants a document, and she's like, hey, Jordan, made this edit, can you take a look at it? She AirDrops it to me. In the past, we would email stuff back and forth. She'd email it to me, I'd wait for it to pop up in my inbox, then I would download it, throw it in Photoshop or throw it in Lightroom, edit it, and send it back to her. Biggest waste of time ever. So AirDrop, man, is so great. Oh, I love AirDrop so much. So I think Apple's got me. I think I'm an Apple fanboy. I might have even been an Apple fanboy before I officially got my Mac, but there's a couple things that took a little bit of adjusting to, and I also wanted to fix on this Mac. There's little things, and I don't know why they do it this way. So when I was editing this video, I realized I did not do my screen recording on this next segment. So really quick, I just want to go over some of the things that I miss from my Windows computer that don't make sense why they're not on the Mac OS. And one of those things is working with files. If you're looking at your files and you're under the list section, Apple does this right. You can hold down the Shift button and select a list of items you want to select of Shift, and it chooses them, no problem. The part that doesn't make sense to me is I like to work under the icon section so I can actually see what the video is or what the photo is. But for some reason, I have no idea why, if I select the first photo that I want or video, hold Shift and choose the last one, it only selects those two different icons. I don't know why you can do it in the list section but not under the icon section. Instead, you have to hold down Shift and kind of drag it, and then this one's not even, so I gotta drag over there. It's a lot harder to do that. So Apple, if you could adjust that or fix that, that would be awesome. I would love that. Another thing I'd adjust to going over to Mac OS was doing a lot of spreadsheets before on my Windows computer. Typically, if I saw another window that I wasn't currently on and there was a cell I want to click on, I could just click on that cell and it would choose it. But now instead, when I click on it, I have to click an additional time in order to choose that cell. So working multiple windows back and forth, I used to clicking twice to choose something that I wanted, which felt very frustrating at the beginning. I think I've adjusted to it now, but I think it would be more productive to eliminate that extra click and just choose where you want to go, because you can see it, just be able to click on it right from that spot. Another small thing, and you may have a solution to this. If you do, let me know, because that would be great, is if I want to delete something, typically I just go and click delete and get rid of it. But having a right click and go to look for move to trash felt like an extra step that I didn't have to do. But again, maybe it's because I don't know what I'm doing yet. So if there's a way to do it as a keyboard shortcut, let me know. That would be awesome. Another confusing thing with Mac, I feel like, is it can be very overwhelming when you start getting lots of windows open. And typically I do Command Tab, and that opens up where I can go back and forth between what I'm working through. But the part I don't like is you can only see what programs you're using, and you can't see individual windows. So for instance, on Chrome, I may have 4 windows open, and I can't see all those windows to choose from here. Same thing as Microsoft Word or Excel. I may have several spreadsheets that I'm working on. And in order to, say, go in Chrome, if I want to look at all the different windows, I got to do Command tilde and then kind of cycle through all the Chrome and then going through trying to find the one I want. And I feel like it's a lot extra work than it needs to be. I liked on Windows that I could do Alt-Tab and see each window that I'm working in. And I could visually see that window, and it made it so much easier to know which one I wanted to go to instead of just an icon of the app. And maybe that's the biggest weakness for Mac OS. It's really designed for creatives, but I feel like from a productivity standpoint, Mac OS could do a lot better. Windows kind of shines in there. I remember the commercials back in the day when Apple used to make fun of Windows for being more of a business professional, wearing suit and tie, boring. But in reality, a lot of us use our computers all the time. I feel like if they focused on some of the productivity standpoints, it would be a top-notch system. So with that, let's go back to the other me. Overall, I love my Mac experience. When I was younger, I played a lot of video games, but I really don't play video games anymore, so that doesn't bug me using a Mac. The only game I play is maybe Zelda Breath of the Wild. I have loved my Mac experience. If you loved your Mac experience, I want to hear what your favorite thing about using Mac is, or if you're a Window user, what do you love about Windows? And am I wrong for staying a Mac instead of going back to Windows? And you may be like me and you love technology, and if that's the case, make sure to subscribe. There's a lot of great content about how technology can make our life better. And so my goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers, about 270 or 80 something right now. And if you want to watch another video on how Mac's newest application called Freeform can make your life a lot better, whether that's for work or productivity, make sure to watch this video right here. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.